Hey guys, and welcome to week 2 of the Porsche Cup car here at the Zandvoort circuit. The first time we've been here in this car, so looking forward to running through this one with you guys. My name is Matt Emery with Veloce Vexed, and this is Coach Dave Academy. So let's get into the hot lap first and foremost. So let's get into the hot lap guide then for the Zandvoort circuit. Now, personally, this is one of my favourite circuits to drive at the moment in iRacing. Obviously, it was added at the end of 2023 as a rescan version of Zandvoort, and it's fantastic in the game to drive. You start off in the last corner, your lap obviously with the massive banking. I did try a couple of times running it a bit higher on the banking just to get a better exit for your hot laps, but I wouldn't say it's really worth anything. So I'd stick to the inside, your normal line in qualifying, and then you come flat out across the pit straight, and then you plunge down into turn 1 for a nice heavy braking zone. Now, firstly, your braking zone, you're just before the 100-meter board. So you'll notice just got this pole here. You're just looking to brake alongside that. And then there's a few different lines again you can take for this corner. It's usually for turn 1, it's better to take more speed into the corner, and then you can sort of V it off more. So if you think a normal racing line, you're sort of rounding off the corner. You're looking for more of a V shape for this corner. So you see you're plunging it into the corner. If you were doing the traditional racing line, you'd go in a bit wider and then round off the corner a bit more. You see I'm heading straight for the apex. Braking heavy into the corner. And what that means is you get a better exit back on the throttle a bit earlier, and then use all of the exit curb as well. Rather than using, you notice I'm a bit away from the apex. And it just means you can get that slight more exit speed, and from all the testing I did, that was the quickest way around turn 1. So yeah, carry that exit speed all the way down to turn 2, clipping the entry curb. So you're braking on this curb. The curbs generally are quite forgiving around this circuit, so you can use them. So don't be afraid of that. Yeah, braking on this curb. There's not really too much of a marker. Maybe start braking just as you go onto the stripes for the curb. And then into turn 2, again using this curb. You don't want to carry too much speed through turn 2. If you carry too much speed, you're going to end up sort of in no man's land in the middle of this corner, and it's going to really compromise turn 3. So very important to stick as far right as you can for turn 2 to open up turn 3, as turn 3 is an absolutely massive corner to get right, and you can lose literally 3 or 4 attempts if you don't get it right. So yeah, all of the curb you can in turn 2, stick it back to the right for turn 3. Now, if you guys who watch F1, you notice a lot of them all the way up here, and they just drive all the way around, clean around the outsides, and then out of the corner. For the Porsche Cup car, it's slightly different. You head it in, just slam on the brakes, only slightly, otherwise you're going to lock up. So you notice I'm going about 35% on the brakes. Run it up to the white line initially, and then what you're going to do is cut back slightly. So you notice I'm not running it all the way out to the white line. I'm cutting it back from about halfway around the corner. So you notice there's a crane there. You're looking to switch back just about around there. And you notice it just gives you, with all the undulation of the corner and all the banking and the camber, it just gives you a better exit. And I gained about, initially, I was doing the line where I was going right around the outside, and I found using this line, where you cut the exit and get on the throttle a bit earlier with the camber, you gain about a tenth or a tenth and a half. It's very tricky to get right and does take a lot of practice, but I guarantee you it's worth it because you will see the results in your lap time. So just make sure you're not running it too wide. Another thing that's very easy to do is just carry too much entry speed, and then if you lock up or go slightly wide, it ruins your whole corner and you will lose heaps of time. So yeah, cutting it back for the exit on the throttle. I went very wide here. I was really pushing on this qualifying lap, as you'll be able to tell throughout the lap. But yeah, using all of that exit curb, you can go all the way up to the grass there and get away with it. And then flat out through turn 4, and then over the crest for turn 5, I believe. Now this one's completely blind going into it, and again, it's very tricky. And there's a lot of challenging corners on this circuit. I'd say this is probably the hardest initially to get right. You've got to be very gentle on the brakes. Because it's downhill and you're turning, it's very easy to lock your front right tyre, and you just go straight on into the gravel, especially in a car as sensitive as this. So you notice I'm already braking at the start of this curb here, coming over the crest. So you're just trail braking and all the way into this corner. You're not really going over 50% or 40% here. You're just gently coaxing the car into the apex, not overheating the tyres at all, and just gradually feeding it, following the white line on the inside, just as close as you can, and then you can start to get back on the throttle once you get close to the start of this curb. So I'll just play it through for you once more, and I'll play it through for you actually in cockpit cam as well, just so you can see what I'm seeing. So you just see I'm coming off the brakes, so coming off the throttle and onto the brakes, and then playing rounds, and you're just looking to get back on the throttle, just at the start of this curb here. Full throttle's about here. You notice I'm already on the throttle slightly, just waiting for the car to feel the grip and make sure it's not going to snap away from you. You then come through to the next section of corners, which is all very flat out, very high speed stuff. Give me a second. There we go. Using all of the curb on the exit, and you're just staying as far left as you can, just to open up this next corner. You see I'm touching the grass there slightly. Using all of that curb on the left, you notice as you come past this curb, the track opens up slightly. Really important to open up the next corner as much as you can. So you notice I'm just following the curb left, starting to brake on the curb again. Just trailing in slowly, not scrubbing the tyres too much as you will overheat them. So just got a little bit of lock on there, into the apex. Again, you can use a lot of this curb. Would not suggest using the sausage curb at all, really. It just, because it's such a high speed corner, it really just unsettles the car and it will just throw you wide and you lose time. So as close as you can to the sausage, but don't touch it. And then out as far wide as you can onto this exit curb, which opens up the next corner. So you notice I'm all the way out, braking into this next corner. Now you notice on this lap I had a bit of a snap here, so I had to make a bit of a correction. And I'll show you better inside the car. Yeah, so usually you're aiming for that apex. It was all going very nicely, and then the rear started coming around, so I had a bit of a correction. We just had to straighten the steering initially, and then turn in. So I just missed the apex slightly. I didn't lose too much time, probably half a tenth or so. and then back on the throttle again. So I'll just show you that once more. Yeah, so I just slightly missed the apex there, just with the snap on the entry. Back on the throttle. Ordinarily, you can sort of see the line I was taking. So you're turning in from quite wide into the apex and then rounding off the corner, as you normally would. And you're really looking to get back across to the middle of the track here. Now this next left-hander is a very, very tricky one to get right. And there's a few reasons for this. One, because the track's so wide, it's very tempting to go really wide, open up the corner, and then you'll find the rear end will come round. And the second reason is because it's such a long corner, long radius corner, it's very tempting to go wide and cut back in. And again, the rear just doesn't live with that. So what I found from practice was you're sticking it just to the right-hand side of the middle of the track. Then you're braking, just slightly coaxing it round the apex, not quite touching the curb yet. And then just being patient. And then once you can sort of see the exit curb, you're getting back on the throttle, run it all the way out. I'll just show you that in cockpit cam. So you see, just going out to the right-hand side, the middle of the track, just waiting for the car to come back to us slightly on the entry. Clipping the curb slightly as well through the middle part of the lap. The curb. And then full throttle again. Business as normal, really. But yeah, you'll see a lot of people using a wider line here, but the rear end just doesn't like it. And it's easier to use your brakes to rotate the car on the apex. So see, I've still got the brakes on until nearly the middle of the corner, and then I come off, use the throttle slightly, obviously with the rear wheel drive, just to rotate the rear. And then out of the corner, completely flat out, and then down towards the final chicane on the circuit. Now this one you're braking just before the 100-meter board again. And nearly full braking capacity, about 80% here. Using this entry curb as well, and then you're just throwing it across this inside curb. And this is one of the corners you can use all of the sausage curb. So you notice I'm all the way across that as far as you can. If you do go too far, you can get a slowdown. I think it's just roughly about there, you'll get a slowdown. But play around with it in practice, see where the limits are, see where you're comfortable putting the car. It's definitely quicker to do that and cut the whole of the sausage curb, and the car doesn't mind that at all. And then also slightly on the gravel there as well. And you can use this part of the track just to rotate the car, just as it pulls it round. The gravel, you can sort of, you notice I carried a bit more entry speed there, and then sacrificed a bit of mid-corner speed. And you're back on the throttle as early as you can. You're looking to get on the throttle again, just halfway through the corner. The exit's really important. And then run it out as far as you can on the exit of the corner. And again, all of the curb, all the way to the grass. And that's absolutely fine. You won't get an off track for that. But I just played it through for you once more. So yeah, into the chicane, carrying a lot of speed on the entry, getting all your braking done at the midpoint of the corner. A lot of lock on here as well. And then back on full throttle as early as you can for the final corner. Now this one's quite a fun corner to get right. You can brake quite late here. So notice I'm braking just after the 50-meter board on the left-hand side. Chucking it in, not opening up the corner too much again, as you can use a lot of the curb on the inside to rotate the car. And then all of the exit curb again. I actually got a bit trigger happy on this lap. As I say, I was pushing quite hard. Let's just have a look at where it's cockpit cam. There it is. So you notice I got a bit sideways on the exit. It would have cost me a fraction of a second, but not too much. But yeah, generally try and avoid the gravel on the exit of the corner. You want to go as far over the curb as you can without touching the gravel, really. And as I said, using this inside curb just to rotate the car slightly. It's a very satisfying track in general, really, to get right. So I hope you guys do enjoy driving it. I hope this hot lap guide was also useful. Obviously flat out along the back final corner and then straight to the line for a lap of Zandvoort. So that was the hot lap guide for Zandvoort for week 2 of the Porsche Cup car. Personally, one of my favourite cars and favourite track combinations at the moment. I hope that was really useful for you guys. And also, if you've got any more problems, then head over to the Discord channel. Also, make sure you check out CoachDaveAcademy.com for all the latest data packs for 2024. But yeah, this has been Matt Emery, and I will see you next week for week 3 of the Porsche Cup. Take care, guys.